All right, what's going on, YouTube land? David Feldman-Makrias. And you know what's crazy? I just spent the last week upping the production quality of these YouTube videos, right? Spent the last week integrating the camera, getting the desk shot right, getting the audio correct, getting the video set up, streaming in 4K, dealing with all the memory inconsistencies, only to be stuck at the airport in a snowstorm. But guess what? The value train needs to keep going, right? We need to keep serving value. So we're going to do what? We're going to do a good old-fashioned webcam and webcam and MacBook Pro mic recording, just like the good old days when we first started this. And let's get into it. So here's one thing I'm seeing in the market right now, March 1st through 15th of 2026. What's happening is everybody's not doing good. We had a great February, actually record-breaking in some of the stores, and we were on track for a fantastic March for auto dealers. And then, some geopolitical things happen and, other things happen in local markets. And I don't want to make an excuse, because we can't make excuses here, but there are certain things that are outside of our control, right? So with that, I wanted to showcase something really interesting because, of course, clients of mine are experiencing a little bit of slowdown for sales, but a couple of them are actually experiencing more sales and more opportunities. And the really interesting thing is one in particular that we're going to go over today actually sold more by spending less, even with all of the geopolitical, all the excuses you can throw at people being flipped in cars, all this left, right, all the spaghetti on the fridge. Doesn't matter. This store still sold more, still got more leads, and that's what's cool, and spent less money in advertising. Digital advertising, that is, and all around. And why am I smiling? I don't know. I shouldn't be smiling, because if I really, was looking at my business, I'd be like, that's probably not a good thing for my business, right? It's not a good thing. Well, it actually is, because we operate for most of our clients, on a retainer model, plus an incentive to do well for sales. It's not your good old-fashioned percent of digital ad spend. It's a lot better situation for that. And the reason why I do that and we do that, even though it's not the industry standard, is because it's better for our dealers. So that way, when our clients are happy because they're selling more and getting more leads, I get to be happy. And I get to be happy monetarily. Okay, so nevertheless, if you want more information on how that works, because it's completely different from the rest of the industry, let me know in the comments. But let me, besides screaming kids, let me actually show you the example of what we're talking about, all right? So let's zoom into this mini presentation. Oh, my face is going to go away. I want you to see my little face here, so I'm just going to zoom in. We're ad hocing this. Can you tell my Chicago accent? Chicago's coming out. I'm stuck in O'Hare, so what are we going to do? And I had a bunch of coffee, so I'm trying to have some personality. All right. I'm looking at the 1st through the 14th, month to date. And then we're looking at the 1st through the 14th last year, same time frame. And for reference, we look at February 1st through 14th of 2026. These are the three time frames we look at. All right, so guess what? Here's what I'm looking at, right? We're looking at sales percentage increase. We're also looking at lead increase, okay? Now, for this store, they actually have a sales percentage increase of 38% year over year in new cars and 4% year over year in used cars. Now, these are our current date ranges of what we look at, the 1st through the 14th of 2026. As any dealer watching this, you might look at your books in the past, if this is in the past, or you're looking at it now going, yeah, that time frame is not very good. How did they sell more cars, right? Well, last year, month to date, always compare the last year, same time frame. Plus, we're going to look at a last month to date as well, 1st through the 14th of 2026. So, what do we see? Well, 39% increase in sales for new vehicles. What is our top lead source of increase? Check this out. 151 new car leads, okay? Compared to 91. Guess what? more sales, more leads. Love when that happens because that means we're actually contributing to a difference being made, all right? So now the website lead perspective that we essentially influence is under dealer website, right? But you got a lot of other counts in here. You have manual counts of phone and walk-in. We like to go off internet, but also look at the big picture all at the same time. You might see that GM Factory, okay? GM Factories actually shows 50 leads compared to 11 last year. So what does that tell me? All right, what does that tell me? That tells me that when GM Factory leads are being pushed, that tells me that inventory, right? Inventory made a difference for the store. It's not rocket science, guys. I'm not trying to say everyone can lower their ad budget and immediately sell more cars. I'm just trying to get us back to the basics. More ad spend doesn't always necessarily sell more cars. If you don't have the market, that's a big impact. We're all feeling that right now. But if you don't have the inventory either, that's going to be a huge impact, right? So an important thing to just look at is essentially the basics. When you think you're down in performance, first of all, I want to ask you, okay, are we down what? Month to month or year to year? Now, since we're out of COVID times, we can look at a year-to-year perspective and hold more weight to it because the seasonality of things are getting a little bit back to normal, right? So let's talk about year over year. That's what I automatically go to when we think performance is up or performance is down, right? So what are we going to look to? We should look to opportunities. And these are good opportunities. They're not just all opportunities, they're good opportunities, meaning they've been vetted. So when I see this GM Factory, they're getting more inventory, right? They're getting more inventory, which is great. When I see an increase in dealer website leads over last year, that tells me, hey, that's interesting, because guess what? We actually just cut the budget month over month to this store. Look, 41 to 40, but we did it with less ad spend. It just goes to show you, you can fine-tune the dials to make anything work. Now, there is a floor, but just because we need to sell more cars doesn't mean we always need to raise the ceiling. Sometimes we need to find where the floor is, and maybe we find in the middle space here. Let me show you what I'm talking about from a Google Ads perspective, because that's where the majority of the digital ad spend is for this client. So it's a Chevy store. When I look in this, it's actually Chevy and GMC combined. So when I look at this, I actually see a couple different things. I'm looking at the 1st to the 14th compared to last month because I want to see some of the conversion changes, right? So check this out. 5,500 clicks in March versus 6,400 in February. Data. We got less clicks. How did we get more leads and how did we sell more cars, right? Well, check this out. Cost. We spent $15,900 in February to an $11,400 in March. That is a $4,500 cost reduction. Let me repeat that, $4,500 cost reduction. One more time, $4,500 cost reduction. We managed for this store in a challenging market, okay, to spend less money and sell and get more leads to sell more cars. I'm going to repeat all that one more time. We managed in this challenging market to, what do? We spent less money, advertising-wise, to get more leads to sell more cars. Less money, more leads, more sales. Less money, more leads, more sales. Less money, more leads, more car sales. Have I repeated myself enough? So, it's really important to find out where the advertising floor is, right, and where the ceiling is. And the three biggest factors are going to be what inventory you have, what the overall market's doing, and what are the factors that we know contribute, right? So how do we know Google, in this case, how do we know Google actually did a better job with less money? We've proven that, hey, we got less clicks with less money. Makes sense. We proved that we spent less, right? So how do we know Google actually made the difference? Third screenshot, check this out. Same time frame, same account. We're looking at all campaigns. I'm going to go into what's called conversions. And this is the secret sauce of Google Ads. It still is. It will forever be. As we move into AI, this is just what the secret sauce is. When we look at this, conversions, we see what? I'm sorting by best performing campaign. Look at these percentages. 276% increase, 330% increase, 666% increase, 929% increase, 1,300% increase. crazy. What do we see? GMC, Chevy truck, Chevy Traverse, used mob. Guess what they got more of? They got more Sierras and trucks. And that's what they needed to sell. And we're there for it. So we saturated the spend, but just because we were there, the market, because we were there, right? Because you got to be there. The market actually was ready and brought in more conversions. And especially with VLAs, it's all inventory based, right? It's all inventory. So you want to be there all the time for VLAs. You really do. And when you get hit with the right inventory allocation, shoot, it's all about the product, right? And we just make sure it's there. So what I'm trying to say is our less ad spend, it was more appropriated in a way that fit inventory, okay? And we actually had the supply rather than trying to push a market purely with spend. We actually had that, and we recognize more conversion signals. And this actually gives me the idea moving forward, rather than us trying to always push ad spend, we should probably get in a format where we're alerted when conversion activity, as long as conversion activity is set up correctly, where conversion activity notices big increases or decreases. Because if we do that, we'll be able to more effectively time the market. Rather than pushing the market, let's time it. Because that's going to be a more effective use of ad spend, right? Heard it here first. David Feldman-Makrias. Spend less money, get more leads, sell more cars. There is a way. Let me show you today. I got nothing else that rhymes with that. See you guys in the next one.